Hey everyone, I'm Armor Gaming, welcome back to my channel and welcome to Monster Legends. I did not think I would have to do another video, another monster analysis on a legendary monster, but SocialPoint has surprised us by releasing a new elite legendary monster into Monster Legends. So of course I have to do an analysis to let you guys know whether or not this monster is worth going for. If you're watching this video during the first 24 hours of its release, then you should know that towards the end of this video, I am going to talk about how you can actually breed this monster. So if that's all you're interested, just go ahead and skip to the end. I'm going to tell you how you can breed Akunobuki, but if you're here for the analysis, well, let's jump right into it. Akunobuki. Neo Buki's might is famous in Monster Legends, but her real self has been trapped in a black hole for years. Up until now, she's managed her situation very well and has been able to fight with the help of her hologram projector. However, now the projector has been stolen, evil hands have taken this machine and tweaked it to project a new Neo Buki, something like her twisted twin, Akunobuki. And it's interesting because we've been seeing a lot of this like evil twin to Monster Legends. It happened with the Team Race monster, the Mythic monster. There's like two versions, a light and dark. It appears like the new Mythic monster is going to have a Team Race dark version and another one. So it's interesting if maybe we're going to see this like evil side of monsters coming forth with future monsters that are released. But nonetheless, we have our elite Thunder monster, and it's great because there has not been a Thunder Elite monster. And I imagine this is why SocialPoint went back and introduced a Thunder Elite monster. So with that being said, let's get into the analysis. This monster has a lifestat of 41,319, and in the Thunder category, this is actually the third highest lifestat, tied with monsters like Ulnar and Warmaster Remntar. So a pretty significant lifestat. The only two Thunder monsters with a higher lifestat are Francine Frank and Inquisitor Fullman. This monster has a power stat of 3,557, which is actually quite high. Now, I'm not going to bother ranking it because for whatever reason in the Thunder category, there's a lot of unique strong power stats. I will however say this monster is slightly weaker than Warmaster Remntar, who has a life stat of 3,575, and slightly stronger than Thunder, who has a power stat of 3,553. So right in the middle of those two monsters. And then as for speed, this monster has a speed stat of 3,542, which is the 5th highest in the Thunder category. The Thunder category is known for being quite fast. Previous to the release of Mythic monsters, the fastest monster in the game was a Thunder category monster, Mercurius. We all know Mercurius with a high speed stat of 3663. After Mercurius is Hornet, Thunder, and Neo Buki. So it looks like the good twin is faster than Akunobuki. But yeah, Akunobuki's speed stat is tied with Voltar. And now, what's cool about this monster is the trait. Unranked, you get this monster with Tough, 35% of the chance you won't get hit with negative effects. At rank 1, you get Possession immunity, meaning you cannot be possessed, which is awesome. And then at rank 3, you get Positive Protection, or Protect Positive Effects. Basically, just like Neo Buki, the reason I love Neo Buki so much is because of that trait. And Wild Bird, the Forsaken monster, similar thing, he has that. So basically, when this monster has a positive effect, it cannot be removed thanks to the trait. So if you want to remove positive effects from this monster, you need to remove the trait. And I'll just give some examples. With Neo Buki, if you partner up Neo Buki with a Remntar, for example, that Neo Buki will keep Skill Mirror up until basically she gets a turn in and then the Skill Mirror disappears. So the way I run my Neo Buki is I give Neo Buki Strength Runes, so that way my Neo Buki has base speed stats. I run with Remntar, so Neo Buki has Skill Mirror, and any attack the enemy dishes out, I'm just reflecting. And keep in mind, it's not damage mirror, it's skill mirror, so you reflect the attack. So this powered up Neo Buki reflects attack. This monster is essentially going to be able to do the same thing. If you have evasion, so if you partner up with Elvira, you get a guaranteed turn in because the evasion cannot be wiped. Like, even if a monster like, let's say Wormlad has a skill that can remove positive effects twice, it doesn't matter. You have a trait that allows your positive effects to not be removed. So if you have life regen, stamina regen, that cannot be cleansed. The only way for it to be cleansed is a monster would have to trait disable and then remove positive effects. So that's awesome. I love the trait. In terms of relics, this is very interesting. This monster can hold double sword, which means, oh my gosh, if you have access to laser beam, if you have cane sword, just obliterate with the sword relics. This monster is a superhero, evil legions, and spirits monster. I would say they could probably add this monster into the family's book along with Neo Buki. Alright, and with that said, let's get into the actual skills. So, some of these names I'm not even going to bother pronouncing. The first skill removes positive effects from one enemy and applies nanovirus to one enemy. Okay, it's whatever, it's a single target skill. The next skill removes all negative effects from one ally and applies precision. Not a fan so far. The next skill, Echoes of Yamabiko, applies area dodge to one ally, gives one extra turn to itself. I will say this is actually a pretty significant skill. The fact that you can give area dodge to one ally, any ally, could even be yourself, and then grants an extra turn, that opens up so much. I imagine the area dodge will last for 3 turns, and considering you are facing some very powerful mythic monsters that can blast you with a strong AoE skill, if you can give your ally area dodge, that would be awesome. If you have a Megaton monster and you can give that Megaton monster area dodge, that would be awesome because they still have Megatons. So if an enemy tries to do an AoE against that Megaton monster, hey, you're fine. You're not going to take that AoE damage. So all they can really hit you is with single target skills. So I think this monster with Megaton monsters could work really, really well together. Let's keep going. Tier 2 skills, Light of Hinode. Applies true vision to allies, applies immunity to control to allies. Fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen this combination. Immunity to control combined with true vision. If you don't know true vision, Charizard has this as a trait. Basically your attacks do not miss. They are gonna be landing guaranteed, and the immunity to control is just very nice, especially with the introduction of mythic monsters moving forward, that a lot of them right now just have basic deny. They'll stun, or maybe they'll freeze, or maybe they'll possess. We don't have any fancy like double stun plus freeze plus whatever. So this could be really useful moving forward. We have another skill, Kubikajiri, applies double damage to itself and anticipation to itself. I think this could be quite significant. Considering this is a thunder monster, you have to account for countering Voltic, for countering Zyla. So having access to anticipation and then double damage so that you can hit the enemy really hard. Keep in mind you do have double sword relics, that's quite interesting. Moving on, we have a skill that applies pierce to itself, removes positive effects from one enemy, applies nanovirus to one enemy, and removes the pierce. Pierce skill. So if you don't know, pierce allows you to basically penetrate through whatever positive effect the enemy has. If the enemy has evasion, doesn't matter. Pierce doesn't care. You literally pierce through the evasion. If an enemy monster has skill mirror and you have pierce on, they're not going to reflect with skill mirror. They have damage mirror, they do not reflect with damage mirror. Unfortunately, now SocialPoint updated to where if an enemy has a relic shield, you can't penetrate that shield. However, if an enemy monster has a shield due to an ally, let's say it's a general tomb that gave a full life shield, you penetrate through that full life shield. That being said, the main purpose of this skill is just for that positive effect removal. By the way, Pierce also ignores taunts and megataunt. So if there's a monster you want to target and you want to get rid of their positive effect, and there's a megataunt monster, doesn't matter. You can still target whoever you want to target, get rid of their positive effect, and then instate nanovirus. Nanovirus will prevent the enemy monster from applying positive effects to themselves. So it's pretty cool, pretty good. I feel like I would like to see like a double nanovirus or something like that, just because there's a lot of monsters that can remove negative effects from themselves and then buff themselves. But if they had a double nanovirus, they would have to remove negative effects twice from themselves. But yeah, it's pretty good. But let's keep going. Yosi deals very heavy special damage to an enemy and applies double healing to allies and applies life regen to allies. I love that skill. It is a powerful 60 damage attack, 3 regen cooldown, 40 stamina cost, and you give your team double healing and life regen. I love that it's a 2-in-1, and whatever monster goes next in the turn order, they get an immediate benefit from this. It's not like those monsters where you have to do a skill for double healing and then do another skill for life regen. No, if your monster's going and then there's another monster next in your turn order, they immediately benefit from that double life regen, so they're going to recover, what, 50% of their HP? The one thing I will say about this is be super careful when you face a reverse healing monster, because if you face a reverse healing monster and you have double healing and life regen, your monster's going to kill itself, so be super careful about that. But I think this is the first damaging skill we've seen. Yeah, 60 damage damaging skill. So, okay, that I'm not a fan of. And actually, scrolling really quickly, this monster doesn't have too much damaging skill. So sometimes I wonder, like, are you even going to be able to use the double sword relics? Let's see. Especially because this is a elite monster, you have a tier group 4 skill. So are you even going to bother ranking this monster up now that there's mythic monsters? These are things to take into consideration. Or maybe now that you have mythic monsters and you have some extra thunder cells, maybe this monster is worth ranking up. So it's completely up to you. But the next skill removes positive effects from itself, applies double damage to itself, and gives 1 extra turn to itself. Very nice. So removes positive effects, double damage, immediate extra turn. Neo Buki has a skill just like this. So it's just a double damage skill. So essentially that, yeah, you do this and then you do that skill we just talked about. That's 120 damage to a single enemy monster. Not bad. It is going to run you down 80 stamina, however. Let's look at the next skill, Strike. Deals very heavy thunder damage to an enemy, disables trait on one enemy, applies nanovirus to an enemy, applies shock to an enemy. This skill does a lot. I like this skill a lot. So it is just a powerful skill. Trait disable if the enemy monster has taunts or whatever. That's going to be gone. Nanovirus to an enemy so they can't apply positive effects to themselves. And then shock. Shock prevents extra turn skills. So let's say you target someone and they had extra turn skills, they're not going to be able to utilize them. I think my favorite part about this skill is the trait disabling. However, I do feel like this skill has the capacity to OTK with the previous skill I talked about, the double damage extra turn skill. Especially combined with your swords. Like even if you have like Jikugan sword, can you imagine you attack an enemy monster with heavy thunder damage, double damage, and then you're gonna double cane sword activates or something. So this has the potential to be really, really powerful. So I can see why this monster can be an attacker. So if you get this monster unranked, how would I run this monster? I think I would go the attacker setup. I would give all of tier group 3. So I have 2 attacker skills and a setup skill. And then it's really gonna depend on you. I don't think I'd run the pure skill. I don't think you need that. I think applies double damage to itself and anticipation. I think that's one you could run. Or honestly, even as an attacker, I would probably run the area dodge skill. Because you can still give area dodge to an ally, thus protecting them. So I would either, I would run all the tier group 3 and echoes, or maybe the anticipation skill. So I think that's what I would do. But let's say you're able to rank up this monster, because you can use Elementium and Elemental Cells for elite monsters. Let's see what we would do. So Robo Kurukubi, I killed that, but I feel like I could have pronounced it. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies. Applies shock to enemies, applies torch immunity to all allies. This skill I like a lot. Neo Buki has a similar AoE skill. Similar to the fact that it's AoE, not in what it does. The reason I like this is because against Megaton monsters, I think this is going to be your best bet. You activate your skill for double damage, and then you do your AoE skill. So instead of 40 damage, it's 80 damage 3 times over to the Megaton monster. That's 240 damage on top of that shock. And on top of that, your team cannot get hit with torture, and tortures are a huge thing in the game. So I love that this skill gives torture immunity on top of just dealing massive damage to the enemy potentially. Moving on, we have Akunobuki. Deals removes positive effects from all enemies. That's nice. Deals moderate thunder damage to all enemies. Applies nanovirus to all enemies. That is very nice. So we have 2 AoE skills you could utilize. The biggest difference here being that this one removes positive effects from all enemies. So if you're going up against an Elvira, Elvira has become more popular thanks to mythic monsters. This monster does not care about evasion. You give yourself double damage and then you shock everyone because you remove the positive effects, and then moderate thunder damage and nanovirus on top of that. I think I prefer this just because being able to block the enemy from giving themselves positive effects is super useful. Now, if you're facing someone that you absolutely know can cleanse the positive effects, then I would go for the torture immunity. But it's nice to have those 2 skills. So far I'm a fan in terms of an attacker monster, but they also definitely work for support. Let's keep going. Applies skill mirror to our allies, removes positive effects from itself, applies Megaton to itself. That is interesting. And doubles the max life, and you double. Okay, so this is like Neo Buki skill, except Neo Buki can only do taunt, but Neo Buki was made in a time when Megaton was a thing. So developers decided to give this monster Megatons. So skill mirror to all allies, you remove your positive effects. So you no longer have your skill mirror, but you have Megatons. So if they attack you, you're not reflecting anything, but you double the max life. Actually, I think I like the Megaton with the max life. And this is where a skill like your first skill from tier 4 would come in handy. If you have Megaton, the enemy monsters are going to try to land torture against you. Well, you better land that torture immunity, right? Oh my gosh, look! Guys, oh wait, you remove positive effects from itself. I was going to say, you could do the area dodge on yourself, and then Megaton yourself. That would be wonderful. Okobi's presence apply. Oh my gosh, okay guys, it works. Check this skill out. Applies positive effects protection to one ally. Oh wait a minute. Protect positive. Positive effects cannot be removed. No, but I think SocialPoint is going to make it so you still remove positive effects from yourself. Yeah, because if not, you'd be able to keep the skill mirror and the Megatons. Okay, it really depends. Here's the thing. Neo Buki has a skill that, even though you have the trait where positive effects cannot be removed, Neo Buki has a skill that removes positive effects and then gives double damage. And from what we've seen, you do lose the positive effects. But how cool would it be if Akunobuki's traits actually protects itself from losing positive effects? If you do this skill, tier 4, you would be rank 3. Imagine you get to keep the skill mirror. That would be awesome. I don't think that would be the case though. But what I was also wondering is, like, what if you can do presence on yourself? Protect positive effects, so then you'd have that technically twice. I think this would work. Let's say you do presence on yourself. You give yourself evasion, whatever. You disable your trait, whatever. You give 1 extra turn to yourself. Oh, maybe not because you disabled trait. And then you do the skill we just talked about, the skill mirror. So because it says removes positive effects from itself, but you have protect positive effects, I think you would keep the skill mirror. I'm pretty sure you would skip the skill mirror, and you'd have the Megataunt, and you'd double your max life. Yeah, I think that would work. I think it might. I don't know how long that area dodge will probably last 3 turns. I wonder if you do area dodge, right, from tier 1, and then you do presence on yourself. You have area dodge, you have protect positive effects, and you have evasion, and then you have an extra turn, and then you do the skill mirror skill, and then even though it removes positive effects, I wonder if you would still keep everything thanks to the protect positive effects from presence. This is gonna definitely be worth testing, because if that works, that is awesome to have skill mirror, dodge area, Megataunt. That would be cool. That would be so awesome. Yeah, interesting skill right there. Applies protect positive effects to one. Regardless, like, this would still work really well with if you have a Megataunt monster on your team, a taunt monster. If you're using Armor Claw, if you're rocking Armor Claw right now, this would be perfect because then Armor Claw has taunt. Now Armor Claw would have evasion and protect positive effects, so you can't cleanse that. And then this monster is also really good at working with tanks because you have that double healing skill and life regen skill, so Armor Claw would really appreciate that. You have that immunity to control to our allies. That would be awesome. I am really liking this monster, and of course you can give. Okay, so see, if you have Armor Claw, you can give Armor Claw area dodge, and then so AoEs won't hurt Armor Claw, and then you can give the evasion to Armor Claw. This is awesome. I like this monster a lot. The ultimate applies protect positive effects to our allies, skill mirrors to our allies, removes positive effects from all enemies. That is a fantastic ultimate for support. So even though this monster can do attack and can hold double sword relics, I definitely see this monster more in the supportive row. It's a legendary thunder support monster with some attack skills. She's the last monster in the elite collection. I thought there was one more element that was missing. She can apply multiple buffing effects to her allies, including area dodge, evasion, skill mirror. So everything I just went through, I gotta say, I like this monster a lot. For a final legendary monster, it's a good way to end, especially a sister, an evil twin sister of one of our favorite monsters, Neo Buki. I absolutely love it. Good job, SocialPoint. So I have a good amount of relics, not relics, I have a good amount of thunder cells that I think I might use to rank this monster up just to get her. Because Neo Buki is another monster I want rank 5, but I think this is going to be my other monster I want rank 5. Hornet's another monster I want rank 5. But I like the versatility on this. Definitely worth testing, especially if it can work really well with Armor Claw. I am going to love that. So this has been an analysis on all the skills and everything. If you get the monster rank 4, I would say run Presence. It depends on whether or not to run the skill mirror skill. We got to figure out what that does. If this monster is supportive, bro, you do not need your AoE skills. Yeah, you can remove positive effects. Yeah, you have that torture immunity. I don't think you need those skills specifically. I would say run Presence, run tier 1, the area dodge skill, and also run, which skill was it? Run the double healing life regen skill, and also run, run shock and torture immunity. Actually, maybe the torture immunity. It really depends. Like, considering we can swap out skills at our, whenever we need it, you're fine to swap out skills. This monster is a team speed holder. There are scenarios where you can make this monster go faster than maybe a mythic monster. For example, if you need to disable trade on a monster, you want this monster to go first before your monster. It really depends. So there's a lot of versatility, and that's what I love about monsters. That's what I miss about the legendary monsters. All their versatility, how to use them, you can swap skills and everything. So that's that. But with that being said, since we talked about the analysis is done, now for those of you that skip to the end, or for those of you that want to know how to breed this monster, keep in mind this is only available during the Colosal breeding event, so during the first 24 hours that this video is actually released. So if you're watching this video in the future, anything past April 2nd, 2020, this does not pertain to you anymore, so you might as well just close the video, or you can stay tuned till the end if you'd like. But basically, here you have it. This is how you breed this brand new elite legendary monster. You need to breed Toshiro combined with Hydrotilla the Bullcaster. Let's say you don't have Hydrotilla the Bullcaster. In order to get Bullcaster, you need to breed Talonay with Rockinaho. And if you don't have this monster either, you can make him with Olnair and Simarg. And this monster is one of those soccer monsters which I imagine a lot of players don't have. I didn't have him actually, so I just finished breeding him. And I just got my Hydrotilla the Bullcaster, so I'm about to be... And I have Toshiro, so thankfully, so I can finally start breeding the monster. But yeah, basically, there's going to be a link in the description for this Google Doc as well, in case you need to breed some of the monsters. Not all the combinations are no, but actually, Toshiro's right there. We have Tempest plus Soap Sam. If you're looking for some of the epics, there is a tab for epics on the very bottom. You can't see it in the video, but on the bottom, there's a tab for epics. So here it tells you how to breed some of those epics, and look, they're all here. So yeah, guys, Soap Sam, Rhinex, Mekarasu. So guys, Mekarasu's Wolfkami and Vanoss. So if you want to get the monster, it is totally doable. It might cost you quite amount of gems, okay? But yeah, now you know how. With that being said, let me know what you guys thought about the analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.